In the counties of Nakuru and Narok in Kenya, collaborative efforts between the public and private sectors, known as PPDP, are fundamentally reshaping the local landscape through various development projects and transformative investments. These initiatives hold the promise of unprecedented prosperity for the future, but also pose the challenge of navigating the complex web of community impact. Over the past year and a half, a team of dedicated researchers from Strathmore University, in collaboration with ForumCiv, a Swedish organization dedicated to development cooperation and capacity building, has been engaging with local communities. They have been listening to their stories, understanding the challenges of their daily lives, and assessing how development projects are benefiting them. In this episode, we catch up with the team after they have completed data collection on the PPDP model. They return to the community to engage various stakeholders in focus group discussions and a high-level dialogue forum on applying the human rights-based approach in public-private development partnerships. Their goal is to gain further insights and deepen their understanding of how the model can be strengthened.
Development projects in a community should involve everyone. This allows the entire community to decide which aspects of development to prioritize. Therefore, it is crucial to include the community from the beginning so they can take ownership of both the process and the resulting development.
We were just trying to explore the framework when you look at economic development at community level, what it looks like. We are trying to get to details on some of the parameters we saw. We've also been trying to look at the environmental issues here, how the community can be enhanced on climate change adaptation and resilience. We've been looking at critical factors for economic development in this particular area. Then we are trying to expand, working with communities and having conversation around enablers. What are the key enablers to enhance economic development?
Here in Rapland, discussions with community members revealed detailed insights into several rights-based issues investigated by the researchers, such as access to clean water, education, and economic empowerment.
We don't have a secondary school nearby. When our children finish primary school, there is no local option for them to continue their education. Unfortunately, not all parents can afford to send their children to distant boarding schools. Having a day secondary school in our area would make a significant difference in educating our children.
Many young people are idling at home due to a lack of employment opportunities. We need more skills training through the PPDP model to empower our youth and enable them to generate income for themselves.
In an effort to economically empower this community, a marketplace was established. However, it remains unused and in a state of disrepair.
We haven't been able to operate in that marketplace because it lacks basic amenities such as water, electricity, and security for our goods and traders. We need authorities to ensure security in the area so that we can feel safe conducting business there.
With no functioning markets nearby, this community often loses time and money traveling to distant markets. This occurs despite being surrounded by significant investments in the Olkaria geothermal project.
The PPDP project was designed within the energy sector. And the energy sector is one of the key development sectors that has received significantly huge investments by the private sector towards development of energy. And that therefore inspired us to work together with the public sector, who are the rights custodians of rights, but also the community, who are the rights holders who need to have some services delivered to them, but also the private sector who are investing in these communities. The communities in RAP, which is actually a definition of an affected community. RAP is Resettlement Action Plan. Therefore guided the choice of the communities. And of course, SUSWA being in the periphery was also identified as a potential affected community that faces the ripple effect of development investments within asserting.
At the overall level, we aim to contribute to a just and sustainable world where everyone has power to effect change, and this change is anticipated to be a positive change in their societies, at the individual level, in their institutions and their communities.
After engaging with the community at the grassroots level, the researchers headed to the city of Nakuru. There, they met with various policymakers from the county government and civil society to gather their input on the research findings.
I think the most glaring piece of information that I've gathered from here is that communities have got an idea of how government can do better at providing services to them. It was amazing to see the perspectives of the community in Olkari about what is missing. What is missing in order to avail services to youth, to women, to persons with disabilities, perspectives that haven't yet been spoken about, or rather not in a very such a succinct manner as I have seen here today.
We were all discussing as duty bearers, as people who have a responsibility towards addressing the problems that our communities face. That really stood out, and the emphasis laid on the need for civic education program, quite timely, and we hope and believe that government should actually fast track the process towards setting up a civic education department. Because without civic education, perhaps we are not going to have proper community engagement, we are not going to have meaningful public participation.
After Nakuru, the research team's next stop was Narok County, where they conducted additional rounds of focus group discussions with local residents, county government officials, and representatives of civil society groups. Participants highlighted several issues, including the need for a modern abattoir to boost the economic standing of a community that heavily relies on cattle rearing as a primary economic activity.
If you look at the market day today on Wednesday, very busy market here for the livestock market, and a large number of people are coming here for the animals to take as far as Nairobi for meat. But then the question for the community is, why can they have their public slaughterhouse here so that they can sell their animals here direct to the slaughterhouse, they get better returns, and then at the same time it can enable economic growth within their community. So they feel they will fetch more from their animals. It's one of the key pillars that really touched our minds today at the focus group discussion in Suswa. So Suswa, whether we get the kind of partnership we are talking about from development partners, from the public sector, from government, the local government, that is the Narok County government, different private partners who want to really enhance economic development in this area in Suswa, the public abattoir is really an opportunity for economic development in this area.
As livestock keepers, the community is also experiencing the impacts of climate change in their area, a concern highlighted by several participants.
Tumeweza kuangalia jinsi ya climate change.
We are consistently seeing the effects of climate change in our community, with our crops and livestock being destroyed by issues like flooding. Climate change directly affects our livelihoods.
One of the key issues discussed in the Narok focus group discussions was the impact of female genital mutilation, FGM. Participants explored how various stakeholders can address this practice, which adversely affects young girls and women in the area.
I think one thing I will urge the government is they still need a lot of investment in the awareness creation, especially using the right-based approach. There is also need to implement the law in that let more people come out, especially when a survivor comes out, let them find justice, regardless of when they show up. Maybe we start prosecuting as a historical thing than just wait for a girl to be cut today and then we prosecute. If we can open an open court where survivors can come out to sue for the violation of their rights, and then maybe this will drive a strong point to the community that it's indeed outlawed and If I can be sued for cutting my daughter 10 years ago, then I can still be, they will see the weight and the heaviness of this issue, and I feel like it will accelerate the abandonment part.
Back at Strathmore University, we find the research team wrapping up their discussions in a high-level dialogue forum. This forum focused on the application of the human rights-based approach in public-private development partnerships and involved key actors from the public, private, and academic sectors.
It was a big task. I mean, really understanding a project happening over a period, and you have to really make sense the science around it. It was a deep reading for us. I mean, it was a very humbling moment because we really wanted to understand, not just for us, but also we wanted to make stakeholders understand how does good development looks like. So it was a difficult task at the beginning, but as we went reading, as we went into the communities, we engaged with communities, we were able to understand exactly what it means. And now we are serving the PPDP model with a lot of ease and with a lot of science understanding, with a lot of data and with a lot of information that comes from the field and from the communities.
Why we chose to partner with Strathmore University is we believe that the next frontier of knowledge management and knowledge development innovation lies with academia and as a civil society organizations, and it's very important to create that linkage between theory and practice, because as civil society then we are where practice is happening, and academia is in the space of developing theories, coming up with new knowledge, and therefore a study that provides scientific evidence on the efficacy of the public-private development partnerships approach.